Hey everyone, it's Coach Mark. Um, it's my second video that I'm doing. I'm kind of addicted to this right now. Uh, I really didn't plan to do one this early this morning, but a buddy of mine just called me up. He called me about 30 minutes ago, and I just happened to be looking at my phone. I was trying to go back to sleep. Actually, I was trying to just relax and kind of a theta brainwave state. That's this, when you wake up in the morning and you're kind of half asleep, half awake, that's when you really get all your inspiration. That's when you get all your ideas. So I was just trying to lay in bed. I actually got up a little earlier than I wanted to. I wanted to sleep a little later. I don't sleep with an alarm clock. I'm fortunate that unless I have an important meeting or something that I have to go to, I just pretty much wake up whenever I want to, but my body's trained to wake up usually around 8 o'clock in the morning. Um, so so I was just really just trying to relax in this state, just to get, that's when God sends me all of my ideas, when I'm just kind of half awake, half asleep, and I get the best ideas then. So I was really trying to relax in this state, and so he calls me. I don't have my ringer on, but I was just looking at my phone to actually see what time it was, and I see that he was calling, and I wasn't going to answer, and something told me to answer the phone. So I answered the phone, and he's like, "Man, you sleep? You sleep?" And I'm like, "Kinda." He said, "All right, call me back. I'll call you back later." I said, "Okay, cool." So he calls me back about 20 minutes later. I'm like, "What the? Why is this guy calling me 20 minutes later?" So he calls me back 20 minutes later, and he's like, "Man, I just had to talk to you. I don't know what to do. My life is crumbling. Everything is going wrong with me in my life. I'm about to get evicted out of my house, and I don't want to go back to the streets. But that's all. That's what I know." And it just really kind of brought back some memories to me of when my life was like that. Maybe about 15 years ago. Yeah, about 15 years ago, and it just seemed like everything was crumbling, and it was one of the hardest periods in my life, and I started kind of telling him a little bit about it. Like, listen, man, I know what you're going through. I remember when I had just graduated from college. I just had my first child, and I had no money. I had right before I graduated from college, I had set up a nightclub, and me and my partner, my roommate, and my partner at the time, we were doing this nightclub. And of course, we thought we were going to make all the money in the world. Nobody could tell us anything. I took my last year of student loan money, the extra money. Most people went to the mall and blew it on clothes. I took the money and I invested it into this nightclub. And my partner, he had his mom had passed away, so he had a little money from that. A little, I guess, it was, I don't know how much it was, but whatever it was, I don't think it was nothing crazy because we were living in deplorable conditions. So I think that by the time we were doing this, we probably ran through that little money, and we ran through my little student loan money. And I remember my life just went into a whirlwind. Just all in a short matter of time. I had my first son, and I wasn't with his mom or anything like that, and so I had that pressure on me. Of course, my parents were on me. I'm the black sheep. I'm the loser in the family, and it was just really crazy. So I have all this pressure on me, and um, my car. I hadn't been paying my car payment. I was in my last year of my car payment. The deal that I made with my dad was that I would take care of my schooling. So I had a scholarship that helped me with my to pay my college tuition, and I worked and I paid I paid for my living expenses, and he made my car note payment for me, which was like $200 a month at the time. This is like 19. I got that car in '94 or something like that. Little green Toyota Tercel, brand new, first car. No, actually my second car. So after I graduated, my dad was like, "Well, I'm going to give you 6 months, and after that, you have to pay for it on your own." And because he had my other brother, my younger brother Greg, he was going to college, and he was helping him through college. And so he continued to pay for it for 6 more months. And I didn't realize that if you didn't pay your car note, that they'll come and take your car. So my dad stopped paying it, and after 6 months after I graduated, which I probably thought he was being a jerk at the time, but you know what? That was one of the best things that he did for me. And really, looking back on it, that was more than fair. That really was more than fair. I made whatever decisions I made in life, so he can't pay my bills for that. I mean, that was the only bill that my parents paid for me while I was in college was my car note. I took care of everything else. And so he went ahead and stopped paying for it. And I didn't realize that when you stop paying for it, somebody's going to come and get it. So I remember, I remember having the worst week of my life. My cousin, who was like my brother to me, I was closer to him than my brothers. He died. He got killed. He had a really good job. He had such a promising future. And he had a really, really good job in somewhere in Kentucky. I think Lexington or somewhere in Kentucky. And he went out to a club one night, and some young kid just shot him in the head and killed him. And I had just talked to him that same night, I think, or the night before. And actually, it was that same night because I talked to him right before he went out. And you know what? I think he was bored. He was trying to have a conversation with me. And maybe if I would have stayed on the phone with him, I just had so much going on in my life that, if I would have stayed on the phone, maybe he wouldn't have went out that night. But you know what? Everything happens for a reason, so I'm not gonna put that blame on myself. Everything definitely happens for a reason. I know he's in a better place right now, but my cousin had just gotten killed, and I didn't even have the money to fly to the funeral, so I think my parents had to do it. My parents had to pay for it, and me and them already wasn't on great terms because I'm the loser in the family. I'm the black sheep or whatever, and so they pay for it. I go down to funeral, and the day that I get back from the funeral that night, because the car people, I guess, had been looking for me. They thought I still lived in Pembroke Pines in Fort Lauderdale, and they finally found my little brother made a mistake and told him that I lived in Tallahassee. I went to school in Tallahassee. He didn't know. I mean, it wasn't his fault. He didn't know. These people were just probably badgering my parents' phone line, and they ended up finding where I lived, and they came and took my house. I mean, they came and took my car. And I mean, I just remember being in that really, really bad place. And then to the point where, the nightclub that we had there was so many ups and downs that there were times when me and my roommate, we wouldn't have any food to eat. So we would literally go to the grocery store and steal food to be able to eat. I remember we had our little routine. We would steal Hot Pockets because those were the things that we could just put in our pocket and just walk out. And he would always steal like a big bag of M&Ms, and that would be our dessert. We'd grab like 2 Hot Pockets, one to eat for dinner, one to eat for breakfast. If we had about $2 or $3, we'd buy the big stuff that we couldn't steal, like like a orange soda, like a check. I remember we used to buy the Winn-Dixie brand checked orange sodas for like 56 cents. They were like 59 cents or 56 cents, and we might grab a loaf of bread, you know, and yeah, it was just those are just really crazy times, I mean, it really wasn't that long ago, and the problem is that we get into these places where we feel that there's no other options. But this is what so I was telling the guy that I was talking to this morning, and he's had success. He was in a rap group a few years ago and made a lot of money and whatnot. But like everything, everything comes to an end. So I guess he's at a place now where, he doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know what to do. He's about to lose his place. And, I really, at first, I really was like, man, I'm thinking in my head, like, I want to go back to sleep. I want to, call me later. But then I said, something told me, I guess God just told me, just talk with this young man for a little bit. Maybe you can give him a little inspiration or something. So, we started, and he started telling me about what he had going on. And first thing that I had to do is let him know that I know what it's like. A lot of people see my life now and think that it's all great, but, it isn't all great. It wasn't all great at one point in time. It is now. And I still have my challenges like everybody else. I please believe I still have my challenges just like everybody else. But I mean, I really, really, really suffered some hard times. But I think that the thing that helped me is I really had to crash all the way down. I had to be dead broke, stealing food, just, doing all kinds of odds and ends and just really like look in the mirror because I think I was at a point where I really thought I knew everything and I had to realize that I didn't. And I just had to expose myself to more, and I have this thing called the cycle of success. And in my cycle of success, it starts with exposure. Like the key thing is exposing ourselves. And a lot of people, when I drive through the hood and I see guys outside doing stuff that they shouldn't be doing, a lot of the problem is that they haven't been exposed to anything else. Like one of the things this young man just said to me was, man, only way I know how to get money is in the streets. And I'm like, man, there's so many other ways out there to get money. I was like, for me, no matter how bad, good or bad things get, that's never an option for me. That's never an option, because that's never an option now for me because I've exposed myself to so many other ways out there to be able to get money. Like that's not even something that it's like why would I even think about that? That doesn't even make any sense to me because there's so many ways out to get money. I told him, I said, do you know how many millionaires are in the United States? It's 9.3 million millionaires in the United States. You see what I'm saying? So what all that tells me, there's more millionaires right now in the United States than there's ever been. Ever. So that just tells me that there's money out there. So if I'm not getting to the money, if I'm not making money, if I'm struggling, all that tells me is that there's something that I don't know. There's something that I need to know. So now I need to figure out what is 9.3 million other people doing that I'm not doing. And that doesn't even put into account the people that make a couple $100,000 a year or make whatever they make and living a good life. So if all these people can do it, why can't I? So, that just tells me right there is exposure. So I started telling them about that. You got to expose yourself to some different people, to a different environment. Environment is stronger than willpower. Environment is stronger than willpower. No matter what your willpower is, if you're in the wrong environment, you're going to always, if your friends are doing a bunch of crap and you say, well, you know what, I'm not going to follow what they do. I'm going to do my own thing. And but you're around them all the time. Please believe it's going to be way easier for you to go back to doing what they're doing than they to sit there and say, you know what, we're going to do what Mark's doing. We're going to do the right thing what Mark's doing. Environment is stronger than willpower. And I said that it's not hard. It's not hard to change. What's hard is making that decision to change. Because you're going to come up with all these reasons and all these reasons why not, and making a decision to change is the hard thing. To change is just making up your mind. Once you've made up your mind that this is what I'm going to do, and just do it. You see what I'm saying? Like make up your mind and just do it. I love to tell anybody that's been around me will tell you. I love to tell this story about. I heard it in a Les Brown motivational CD a few years ago when I really was starting to get into personal development. And he talks about, and I've heard other people talk about it too, but he talks about a guy walking by a house, and there was an old man and a dog on the porch. And he was like, he would walk by the house every day going to work, every day coming back home. But the dog would always be crying. So, after about 20 or 30 days, he walks up to the old man. He said, hey, old man, how you doing? He said, fine. He's like, what's wrong with the dog? Why is he crying? He said, no, what's wrong with the dog? And he's like, he's crying. He's like, well, why is he crying? And the man said, he's sitting on a nail. So the guy says to him, well, why doesn't he get up? And then the old man says to him, because it doesn't hurt enough for him to get up. It just hurts enough for him to cry. And that story has always stuck with me because for a lot of us, the pain of life is just hurts enough for us to cry, but it really doesn't hurt enough for us to really do something about it. And when it does, that's when we will. So to me, if you're stuck in a situation and you're crying and whining every day, then you're sitting on that nail, but it just doesn't hurt enough for you to get up because trust me, when it hurts enough for you to get off, you're going to find another way. And to me, the key to that is just exposing yourself to people that's doing better than you. There's people that's in a position that you want to be in. I mean, that's what I've done the last 2 years is just exposing myself to the most successful people that have ever lived. I know I want to live a successful life. Like to me, I don't believe in that God sent us here to suffer, to live this horrible life. And I mean, if that's what you believe or that's what anybody believes in, that's what you're going to get. I believe that the world, there's nothing but opportunities out here. It's nothing it's nothing but opportunities. It's nothing but money out here. Someone told me that Buckminster Fuller once said that if you took all the wealth in the world and evenly distributed it, everybody would be a millionaire. So I'm looking for my millions. I'm looking for, I feel it's out there and I feel that we can get it. We just have to make the decision. We need to first expose ourselves to all these opportunities and everything else that's out there. And then we need to make the decision. Then actually, once we have that exposure and we see people that look like us, that aren't no different than us, that have the finer things in life, that have a great life, that drive the cars you want to drive, that take the vacations, that live in the houses that you want to live in, then now you start to get a little bit of belief. And once you look at their stories, like I'm hoping that this story will be a motivation to people, because, like I said, it wasn't all gravy for me. It hasn't been all gravy for me. I definitely had my rough times, and it wasn't until I stopped and started looking in the mirror, and I didn't even have access to all the personal development stuff that I do now. But it wasn't until I stopped and really started looking in the mirror and started saying, hey, Mark, you know what? Maybe you don't know as much as you think you know. Maybe you don't know as much as you really, really think you know. And until I started to make some changes in life, you know. So, like I said, once you have that exposure, the next step on my cycle of success is belief. You start having that belief that, hey, you know what? If that guy over there did it, so can I. I can tell you a million people that have started from nowhere, and that are billionaires right now. The one that kind of sticks out to me in my mind is the guy that started WhatsApp. He went from being an immigrant coming here from another country to having an app that he sold to Facebook for $19 billion within a couple years. I mean, it's so many people. I could sit here and list off thousands and thousands of really successful people that started off with nothing, that really had a bunch of hard times. So it can be done. So to me, if it can be done, I can do it. I can do it and you can do it. You just got to make up your mind. Once you have that belief, once you have that strong enough belief that you really can do it, then that's when you start taking action. You're gonna wanna work towards whatever it is that you're working towards. Like even with me right now, with being a coach on Beachbody. Like my problem is that last night I didn't want to go to bed. I was up. A guy had texted me. I saw him post something on his Facebook, so I shot him a text like, "Man, I need to talk to you." He's like, "What is it? What is it? What you got?" I was like, "Man, I got an opportunity for you." And I was like, "I'll call you tomorrow. Let me know when you're free tomorrow to talk." So he just kept texting me. He's like, "Man, I'm whatever you're talking about, I want to hear." And I was like, "God, Lee, it's like almost 12 o'clock last night, and I really wanted to get ready to try to go to bed. So, but I messed up, and I'd have called him. I was like, so I just called him, and I just started explaining the opportunity to him. There's a lot of people that trust me, and I just gonna always never try. People know that I'm not gonna feed them any BS or anything like that. And so he ends up. So I end up pitching the opportunity to him, and he's like, "Man, Mark, if you're telling me, I already know. I already know. You can say no more, you know. So my problem now is that I'm so excited about what I'm doing. It's hard for me to go to bed early, and then I wake up thinking about it. So I done woke up early this morning because really I woke up around 7:30, and I should have slept till at least about 8:30 because I really need to catch up on some sleep because I've been going so hard the last month. Just even before I got this opportunity, just in training classes, and everything else that I'm trying to do. And so, but you're going to start, like I said, once you have that belief, you're going to start wanting to take massive action. You know, you're going to take that action. And once you start taking the action, you're going to see results, and then the results give you more belief. Now that you're seeing results, now that you're able to go and take a little vacation or buy the house that you want or pay your bills on time, it's going to give you more belief in yourself, and then you're going to take more action. Then you're going to see more results, which is going to give you more belief. Then you're going to take more action, and then you're going to take more results. Then you're going to get more results. So that's really the key. I'm going to really spend some time and talk about this subject a little bit more, probably in one of my future videos. I just, after I got off the phone with the guy, so, I told him, I was like, man, listen, I'm going to do everything I can to help you. I'm going to give you an opportunity. And, I'm just going to talk with the guy, and just really just try to expose him to a little bit more than what he already knows. Because I definitely don't want to see this guy go back in the streets and do some crap that's going to land him in jail, because there's so many other ways out there to make money. It's so many other ways out there to make money, and when you're in the streets and you're there all day, all night, for 20 hours, trying to do something that's illegal, trying to do something that you shouldn't be doing. And then when you really look at the money that you're making, you might as well be working at McDonald's, you know. And nothing against anybody that's working there, but I mean, I started off working there. That was one of my first jobs that I had, So I salute anybody that does that. Everybody, we all have to start somewhere, But please believe that that's not where life ends. Life gets better. Life gets better if you make a decision to make yourself better, And for me, I've accomplished a lot in my life, but I got to a point where I felt like I was stuck, And where I was at, 99% of people, I think I was probably above 99% of people in America. And, they would probably be happy to live the life that I was living maybe 2 years ago. But you know what? I know for myself that there is still, because I've exposed myself to so much more, I know that there's still so much more out there. So I can't be happy with that. So I had to take a little time off and really just study self-development a little bit more, study some of these really successful people, really to take myself to a whole nother level. Anyway, I got to get started with my day. I got anybody that knows me knows that I have my routines, my rituals that I do every single morning. So I'm about to go and start that. I do that for 30 minutes. I'm definitely talk about that in one of my upcoming videos because I have a book that's coming out called Rituals, but it's spelled with a Richuals instead of Rituals. Rituals. And I have a set of rituals that I do every single morning. I program myself for success, If you don't program yourself for success, then the world and all this trash that's out here is going to program you for failure, So you got to make that decision, But you have to first expose yourself and even know that that's out there, that you can do that, Anyway, I could go on and talk for hours, and I won't. I need to go ahead and get my day started. I got so many people I got to meet today. I got so many things I got to do. But being that I was up, it was just really, really on my mind. Maybe that's why God sent this young man to call me, to kind of get this off my chest, and share this with some people. Hopefully it can help some other people. You can find me, coachmarkbb@gmail.com, and I'm sure somewhere in this YouTube post you'll see all the links to find me. If you want to get in touch with me, even if you just want to talk, If I don't, I'll respond back to you as soon as I possibly can. Understand that I'm busy. I got a lot of stuff going on, but I definitely want to try to reach out to as many people as I possibly can, because that's what it's about for me right now. It's really just serving. Yeah, I want to make some more money. I won't lie, but honestly, it's just about serving, helping other people become great. So I mean, I'll talk to y'all later.